Imagine leaders who believed their honor alone could justify bloodshed. Entire nations plunged into chaos because ego demanded it. From Bronze Age kings to modern generals, history is littered with wars that had no material necessity, only pride, arrogance, and the unrelenting desire to prove oneself. Before we begin, hit subscribe to follow us on this dark journey through the human thirst for ego-driven conflict. Warning 10. The Trojan War. Honor over reason. In a world where honor dictated every action, the fall of Troy began not over resources or survival, but a dispute over a woman. Helen, Paris's pride, Menelaus's wounded honor, and the Greek coalition's obsession with reputation created a war that lasted a decade. The Greeks assembled a fleet not out of need, but to reclaim face in the ancient world's honor culture. Every betrayal, every duel, every burning city was a message. Pride mattered more than life itself. Present parallel. Even today, nations sometimes risk escalation over perceived slights rather than tangible threats. Lesson: ego can transform personal disputes into protracted tragedies. Warning 9. Peloponnesian War. Athens versus Sparta. The Peloponnesian War started when Athens' growing influence stoked Spartan fear. Both city-states were powerful, but neither truly needed war. Arrogance and a desire to dominate the Greek world drove decisions. Thucydides notes how minor incidents spiraled into decades of bloodshed. Pride dictated alliances, betrayal became a virtue, and the political elite were trapped in a mirror of their own arrogance. Present parallel. Modern diplomatic standoffs often echo Athens and Sparta. Fear and pride create cycles that no rational need can justify. Lesson: ego can blind nations to strategic reality, leading to self-destruction. Warning 8. Napoleonic expansion. Hubris on horseback. Napoleon Bonaparte's rise was fueled by unmatched ambition and a belief in personal destiny. The French campaigns of the early 19th century were less about necessity and more about ego, the need to conquer and be remembered. Each battlefield became a stage for Napoleon's legend. Cities burned, populations starved, all to satisfy his drive for glory. His ego turned Europe into a chessboard where human lives were mere pawns. Present parallel. Leaders today who overestimate personal power risk similar spirals. Modern geopolitics still has its Napoleonic echoes. Lesson: personal pride can escalate conflicts far beyond practical need. Warning 7. Falklands War. Pride over policy. In 1982, Argentina invaded the Falklands, not because of pressing economic need, but to assert national pride and distract from internal turmoil. Britain responded to protect perceived prestige rather than material gain. The isolated islands became symbols of national honor. Political leaders risked lives and international tension because letting go would have been a loss to their ego. Present parallel. Modern territorial disputes often hide ego behind legal claims. Lesson: when prestige outweighs reason, war becomes inevitable. Warning 6. Russo-Japanese War. Pride miscalculations. Japan's modernization and Russia's imperial arrogance clashed over influence in Korea and Manchuria. Neither side faced immediate existential threat. The war was a contest of prestige, military face, and overconfidence. Battles like Tsushima were shaped not only by strategy but by leaders' egos. Losses became national humiliation, not lessons. Present parallel. Military escalation today sometimes mirrors this. Miscalculated pride rather than genuine defense triggers conflict. Lesson. Overconfidence and ego can lead to catastrophic miscalculations. Warning 5 Iran-Iraq War. The ego loop. The 1980s Iran-Iraq War was sparked by territorial disputes, but egos of leaders Saddam Hussein and Khomeini escalated it into a prolonged bloodbath. Pride, ideology, and the desire to dominate overrode reason. Neither nation truly gained strategic advantage. The war became a contest of wills, with civilians paying the ultimate price. Present parallel. Ego-fueled proxy wars continue to destabilize regions today. Lesson. Leaders' egos can trap nations in endless cycles of revenge. Warning for Assyrian intimidation doctrine. Assyria's empire thrived on fear. Kings waged wars not for survival but to display dominance and terrorize neighbors. Ego-dictated expansion, cruelty became strategy. Villages were razed, leaders executed, and monuments built to glorify rulers' pride. History remembers the empire's ferocity more than its accomplishments. Present parallel. Modern regimes still use intimidation as a strategic tool. Ego often drives the first strike. Lesson. Pride-driven intimidation can escalate into large-scale wars. Warning 3 Aztec Flower Wars. Ritual pride. The Aztecs waged wars to capture prisoners for sacrifice, not conquest. Ego and religious prestige, not survival, dictated these ritualized conflicts. Young warriors sought honor and reputation, turning violence into performance art. Entire communities were embroiled in cycles of pride-driven bloodshed. Present parallel. Cultural or ritualistic pride can still spark localized conflicts today. Lesson. Even symbolic pride can drive destructive cycles. Warning 2 WW1 Alliance Pride Trap. World War I erupted largely due to complex alliances and national pride. Minor incidents, like Sarajevo, triggered an avalanche of mobilizations. Necessity was minimal. Ego and honor codes were maximal. Leaders feared humiliation more than consequences, dragging millions into a war that modern historians call avoidable. Present parallel. Entangled alliances today can still magnify local disputes into global crises. Lesson. National pride can ignite wars far beyond reason. Warning 1 Modern proxy wars. Ego in the shadows. Many contemporary conflicts, from the Middle East to Africa, are fueled less by resources than by pride, reputation, or the desire to prove dominance. External powers project ego through local conflicts. Syria, Yemen, and other theaters reveal a pattern. Pride disguised as ideology, alliances forged for prestige, civilian suffering secondary. Future-oriented question. If ego continues to guide foreign policy, how many more generations will inherit war as a normalized tool of pride? Lesson. Ego-driven conflicts are timeless. Unchecked pride today risks repeating historical catastrophes. From Troy to modern proxy wars, pride has consistently outweighed reason. The human cost is staggering, yet history often repeats. If you want to uncover more dark truths about why humans fight, hit like, subscribe, and dive deeper with us into the hidden lessons history refuses to teach.